Namaskar, good afternoon. Welcome to this third day's SP live session for the third batch participants, colleagues. A warm welcome to all of you. Those colleagues who have been participating last 2 days, they are familiar with this SP live session. Those colleagues who have joined today afresh, I think for them, you can watch the live presentation session, and then simultaneously, if you have any question, you can type it on the chat box so that we will see the question. आपको response भी देंगे. I think that's how we will go about it. This third batch started on 7th October. This will go up to 15th October. As far as the live sessions are concerned, today is the third day's live session, and we have 3 more days live sessions. Live sessions will be up to 13th only, 13th October. 14th, 15th, will basically participant colleagues will be using it for giving a test, both the discussion forum test and the final test, which are available in the Swine platform itself, along with the course e-content, video programs, along with the discussion forum, and then the tests are also there, both the tests. Discussion forum test will have a 15 MCQs where you will be answering, which is equivalent to almost 30 marks for the discussion forum test, and then final test will be 35 questions of MCQs. Again, each question will have 2 marks, so it will be 70 marks. 70 plus 30 is a 100 marks test you have to appear. Once you appear both the tests, I think those who secure more than 50% will be through. I think that's all the assessment. You must have read the guidelines, etc. given. Friends, today we have with me Professor Niraj Kumar Das, Professor of Senior Faculty, Senior Professor of School of Education at Indira Gandhi National Open University. He will be talking to you on the learning outcomes. आजकल जो jargon है, the latest one, whether you see any document related to education, any document related to policy, any document related to UGC, or any other professional bodies, everybody talks about learning outcomes. I think we requested Professor Das to speak on this, and the link with the learning outcomes based assessment, how assessment के साथ learning outcomes को link कर सकता है. I think that's basically the focus of this session. Of course, last 40 years, both Professor Das and myself involved in this learning. At that time, we never called it as a learning outcome. We will call it as objectives of the unit, objectives of the block, objective of the course, and we do have that, not that. And the same thing, not only calling it as objectives, linking objectives with the objective assessment-oriented questions, assessment-oriented activities. We have been doing that. So it is not something unfamiliar to us, but certainly those colleagues who are not thoroughly aware of this session will be very useful. Professor Das is a former director, School of Education at Indira Gandhi National Open University. I think he is a member of many important committees within IGNOU and outside, very closely associated with NCERT on a major policy issues, including the National Curriculum Framework, very actively involved. I think he is contributing to the field of education very, very immensely and very actively. I am CRK Murthy. I am one of the team member of NUP-PDP team, which a few of you must have seen the name here and there. I think today we will have a very fruitful session. I am sure that you will enjoy that. It's not only the colleagues from education or related fields will benefit, any other discipline. I think the theme of learning outcomes linking with assessment is very useful. I think you will certainly benefit. With these few words, I welcome Professor Das again to the session, and I will hand it over to conduct the session. Professor Das.
Thank you, Professor Murthy. A very good afternoon to all my friends, colleagues who are enrolled in this program, NUP-PDP. And as Professor Murthy has already announced, today's session will be on learning outcomes based assessment. And during his intervention, he referred to learning outcomes as a very popular terminology being used by many people, and in many documents one can find Even in latest documents, like self-learning materials and many other materials of both Government of India and different international agencies, you will find learning outcomes. And we will understand the learning outcomes, its significance in the context of NEP, and also in its significance in the entire scheme of higher education system. So, why these learning outcomes they are so much emphasized, and what is the difference between learning outcome and learning objective? As Professor Murthy has rightly said that earlier, even in IGNOU, we are talking of learning objectives. In our earlier materials, in course materials, in many of our programs, you will find that in units you will find objectives. But now there is a shift from objective to outcomes. Well, why so? All these things they really create a lot of curiosity among the learners, not only among the learners but the teachers who are involved in this instructional transaction business. Now let us understand how NEP looks at this particular phenomenon called learning outcomes and its significance in the overall scheme of higher education system. If you have gone through the NEP 2020 document, particularly I am referring to higher education section. Of course, there is a huge coverage on school education. You will find the same learning outcomes under the school education section. And all of us, you know that NCERT, this National Agency for School Education, it has come out learning outcomes for both elementary and secondary school level. So learning outcomes, they are talked about at different stages of education. But let us see that how NEP talks about this learning outcomes, what is its significance. When it says higher education institutions shall move to a criterion-based grading system that assesses student achievement based on learning goals. Please underline. It talks about learning goals for each program, making the system fairer and outcomes more comparable. So it talks about learning goals as well as learning outcomes. Therefore, its main emphasis is on learning goals and learning outcomes. Furthermore, it says that higher education institutions shall move away from high-stakes examination towards more continuous and comprehensive evaluation. You see, there are two things. One is on learning outcomes, learning goals, and then this policy document gives a lot of emphasis on CCE, continuous comprehension evaluation, and it also suggests that HEI should move away from examination-oriented system to more continuous comprehensive evaluation. So, this is the clear message that NEP gives to all the practitioners in higher education, mainly the school authorities, school principals, and higher education authorities, higher education principals, and higher education teachers. Now the question is, how do you understand this concept, learning goals, learning outcomes, and how they are really, unless we are clear about these concepts, learning goals, learning objectives, learning outcomes, perhaps we may not be able to really relate it to other dimensions of instructional system and ultimately assessment system or student assessment. Let us understand what are the basic or minor difference between or among these terminologies. Let us see with a very crude example, goals, objectives and outcomes. If we understand in our common sense what is meant by goals, what is meant by objective, what is meant by outcome. Goals they are basically they are the long-term post. Like in a football match, there is a post, goal post, and all the football players they are trying their best to reach that. That is the goal post. That is the ultimate end, ultimate post that we have to really strive forward or strive towards. So goals, where do you want to go? That is the goal. That, for example, when NEP says we have to strive towards learning goals. So, higher education system must set out what are the broad learning goals, and towards that direction, the entire system must be geared towards that direction. So, goals, they are broad in nature. Objectives, how do you get there? So, objectives, this is basically relates to the strategy of reaching the goal. Let us give you a very crude example, a day-to-day example. Suppose our university is situated in Saket area of Delhi, and let us say we want to reach Connaught Place, which is a centrally located place. So, if my goal is to reach the Connaught Place that is centrally located from South Delhi, I have to reach that place. So, I have to find out the strategy. The strategy, the communication strategy. For example, how do I reach this particular place, Connaught Place? I may go by bus, I may take an auto rickshaw, I may take a cab, or I may go by metro. So, there are different ways of reaching the goal. So, objectives, they are essentially associated with envisioning the strategy to reach the goal. Now, how do we know that we have reached the goal? So, outcomes explain or provides us proof that we have achieved the goal. So, outcomes, they are essentially proof that you have arrived at the goals, you have reached the goal. So therefore, there is something, a connect between or among goals, objectives, outcomes. Now, coming to our instructional system, educational system, if we connect the meaning of goals, objectives, and learning outcomes, we will understand the goals of education, mainly a broad definition of student competency. ये जो goals of education जो हम कहते हैं, ये है क्या कि जो हमारा जो छात्र हैं उनका जो competence है, broad competence, and that is universal nature or general in nature, long term. The achievement of these goals of education, they are long term. For example, our constitutional goals. Our constitution has set a number of goals that in the preamble of the constitution we have they say democracy, fraternity, equality, many goals are there. They are constitutional goals. And similarly we have many goals, like for example citizenship, development of scientific temper, scientific thinking, interest in our cultural values. These are universal and general in nature, and they are achieved after a long period of instructional transaction or after a long exposure of school or college teaching. So they are long-term in nature. But learning objective, they are designed by a teacher towards the achievement of goals. What a teacher describes the end result of the instructional process. They are specific in nature, they are short-term and teacher-centric. So basically when Professor Murthy was talking about objective, even in our earlier material we will find objective, course objective, then unit objectives. Therefore, they are a kind of teacher-centric strategies for a particular course, for a particular unit. And the teacher was formulating these objectives in order to gear towards what to write, how to write, and what type of example, what type of assessment strategies. All these they are acting like some kind of directives. So learning objectives, they are some kind of directives which a teacher uses to design the entire classroom instruction, or in a distance learning system, the distance learning instructional system. But learning outcomes, they are detailed description of what a learner must be able to demonstrate at the end of the course. Here the emphasis is something explicit, that the learner must be able to demonstrate that he or she has achieved that goal. achieve that objective unless that is demonstrated, that is made clear through some kind of activity, through some kind of performance. Nobody knows whether the learning goal has been achieved. So therefore learning goal. And here, let us reiterate the statement of the NEP. Why NEP is so much emphatic on learning outcomes? That we have to shift from an objective-based paradigm to an outcome-based paradigm where students' performance, students' demonstration of student performance is more important, so that we know that student has really achieved. And therefore, whether it is school system, NCERT has done this, and in higher education, even UGC is emphasizing on this. Therefore, our goal that at the end of our instruction or at the end of some kind of a program, therefore there should be some kind of tangible result, and that tangible result may be in different domains. And why it has been emphasized so much? Because the entire world is moving in such a direction. You know, the vision of the NEP says, we are going to create a vibrant knowledge society. And this vibrant, equitable knowledge society is based on what a learner knows, what a learner can demonstrate in terms of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values. That is more important. Therefore, the importance of learning outcomes vis-a-vis the policy statement. Now, you see, what are these learning outcomes? They have been defined by many authorities. One is, you can get from internet so many definitions, but let me cite one definition. Learning outcomes are statements that describe significant and essential learning. That describe significant and essential learning that learners have achieved and can reliably demonstrate. Underline this word, reliably. What does it mean? That means learner has to demonstrate, not at one point of time, at the end of one examination or at the end of one annual examination, but throughout his or her life, consistently, reliably, consistently. That's why he will be marketable when he goes to job market. He can get a job, he can prosper in his personal life and social life, cultural life, and vocational or professional life. Then this learning outcome is based on outcome-based education. Outcome-based education was propounded by Spady. Spady is known to be the father of outcome-based education. How does he define OBE? Outcome-based education means clearly focusing and organizing everything in an educational system around what is essential for all students to be able to do successfully at the end of their learning experiences. Therefore, Spady emphasizes that all learners must be able to successfully demonstrate what is taught to them, what skill they have achieved at the end of their learning experience. And he also defines outcomes are clear learning results that we want students to demonstrate at the end of significant learning experiences. For example, you have taken a class of 50 minutes or 40 minutes. At the end of your class, what your learner have acquired in terms of knowledge, in terms of skill? Have they acquired something? Are they able to demonstrate before you? That is important. Further, their actions and performance that embody and reflect learner competence in using content information, ideas, and tools successfully. Therefore, what they have acquired in terms of knowledge, skills, attitude, values, they have to demonstrate, and if they are able to demonstrate, then we are sure that learning has taken place. And if learning has taken place successfully, that will be the hallmark of a vibrant knowledge society, which has been envisioned by the NEP 2020. Now, what are the characteristics of a good learning outcome? Outcome should specify the level, criterion, and standard for the knowledge, skill, ability, or disposition that the student must demonstrate. At the end of your class, at the end of a semester, at the end of a 6-month program or 1-year annual program, you must assess whether they are able to demonstrate the knowledge, skill they have acquired, the kind of disposition, aptitude, all this must be demonstrated. So that is explicit in a learning outcome statement. Include condition under which they should be able to demonstrate their knowledge, skills, abilities, or disposition. Generally, what happens in many learning outcome statement, generally you don't find conditions. But a good learning outcome statement must display the condition under which a particular outcome has to be demonstrated by the students. Contain active verbs, and they are basically, since they have performance, they have to be in terms of some kind of verbal active verbs. That means the active verbs must be used to describe that kind of learning performance. Be stated so that outcome can be measured. Sometimes here is a question. Whenever we talk about learning outcomes, that must be measured. What does it mean? For example, when we administer a test and we get to know that what is the knowledge level, what is the understanding level, what is the application level. So in terms of some kind of marks we get. So that must be measured. Be written such that you don't join elements in one outcome statement that can be assessed by a single. So don't make your outcomes statement so clumsy that it contains so many outcome statements. Now, for example, structure of a STEM. Learning outcome is itself called STEM, but it must contain active verb, then focus, subject, criterion, indicate a process, product, or outcome, the context. Then there should be some kind of condition, some kind of context, and qualifier. For example, using the appropriate reference system. Using the appropriate reference system, students will be able to write an article for a research journal. So this kind of conditions or qualifier context is provided. Let us look at this example. Specifying observable behavior of the object. Students will be able to write a research paper. Here, writing a research paper is the outcome that student they have to demonstrate after a PhD program, after an MPhil program, or a MA program in research paper. Whatever discipline you talk about, that they will be able to write a research paper. Then criterion standard, what criterion standards should we say? Students will be able to write a research paper in the appropriate scientific style. So you put a standard, a criterion. What NEP says? Criterion based assessment. That always put a criterion. That is more important in assessment. In the appropriate standard. That will be a hallmark to judge the quality of performance. The condition under which the behavior occurs can be specified at the end of their field research. When do you write the research paper? At the end of their field research. This is the condition, qualifier. So this is the way you write a statement. So last line is at the end of their field research, students will be able to write a research paper in the. So this way we formulate our learning outcomes. Learning outcomes, they are basically related to three major domains of human abilities. One is cognitive domain, knowledge, understanding, application, like this. Another is affective, which relates to emotions, attitude, motivation, and many other things which is related to our feeling dimension. And third thing is psychomotor or skill dimension. So learning outcomes can be related to three major dimensions of human abilities. Now, primarily when we are discussing about learning outcomes, they are in a examination oriented system. हम सब कॉग्निटिव डोमेन, नॉलेज डोमेन के साथ जुड़े हैं, और उसमें ज़्यादातर हम जब इस डोमेन के साथ जुड़ते हैं तो ब्लूम्स टैक्सोनॉमी को हम फॉलो करते हैं. जैसे ब्लूम्स टैक्सोनॉमी रिवाइज हो गया, लोरिन एंडरसन और क्राथवोल, they have revised this Bloom's taxonomy. So Bloom's taxonomy में measures this categories है remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, creating. So ये इसको यूज करके और इसका सब कैटेगरीज हमारा मटेरियल में हमने दिया है यूनिट 8 जो इनोवेटिव असेसमेंट यूनिट में. सो डिटेल टेबल्स दिया गया एंड ऑल दिस कैटेगरीज दे हैव देयर सब कैटेगरीज. ये आप देख लीजिए वहां भी सारा डिटेल. तो उसी का आधार करके आप लर्निंग आउटकम स्टेटमेंट लिख सकते हैं. नाउ वी कम टू द नेक्स्ट. ये हम अगर लर्निंग आउटकम्स बारे में अच्छी तरीका हमको जानकारी है तो इसको कैसे इस्तेमाल करा जाए हमारा एकेडमिक प्रोग्राम में. एकेडमिक प्रोग्राम में हम इस्तेमाल करने से पहले हम एकेडमिक प्रोग्राम का स्वरूप जान सकते हैं. हाँ, स्वरूप जान जाना चाहिए क्योंकि हमारा जो प्रोग्राम है वो कैसे डिजाइन होता है. जनरली इंस्टीट्यूशन एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन कॉलेज हो कि यूनिवर्सिटी हो स्कूल हो, एक सबसे बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है प्रोग्राम. और हर प्रोग्राम कई सारे कोर्सेस उसके साथ ही होता है और हर कोर्स में आप यूनिट, जैसे हमारे इग्नू में एक पीजी डिप्लोमा है, पीजी डिप्लोमा इन डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन 4-5-6 कोर्सेस है और हर कोर्स में कितने यूनिट्स हैं. और जैसे हम ट्रेडिशनल और कन्वेंशनल टीचिंग लर्निंग सिस्टम में यूनिट के जगह में हम चैप्टर हमको मिलता है देखने के लिए हर कोर्स में कितने चैप्टर्स भी होते हैं. और हर यूनिट सब यूनिट्स में डिवाइड होता है और सब यूनिट्स लेसन्स और टॉपिक के. लेसन और टॉपिक इज द माइक्रो स्ट्रक्चर इन द एंटायर प्रोग्रामेटिक स्ट्रक्चर. ये लेसन है, एक पीरियड में आप कितना पढ़ा सकते हैं, कितना टीचिंग लर्निंग ट्रांजैक्ट कर सकते हैं, वो है लेसन और टॉपिक. तो ये एक है सिक्वेंशियली फ्रॉम टॉप टू बॉटम इसका स्ट्रक्चर होता है एक एकेडमिक प्रोग्राम में. नाउ लेट अस सी दिस डायग्राम. ये प्रोग्राम मैंने देता है क्या कि देयर मे बी कोर्स 1, कोर्स 2, कोर्स 3, कोर्स 4 लाइक दिस. कोर्स 1 अगर यूनिट 1, यूनिट 2, यूनिट 3 ऐसे भी. यूनिट 1 से फिर हम सब यूनिट आ जाते हैं, सब यूनिट 1, सब यूनिट 2, सब यूनिट से लेसन प्लान 1, लेसन प्लान. मान लो आपको पढ़ाना है लेट अस से let us say in our distance education theories of distance learning system. So there are different theories. तो फर्स्ट पीरियड में एक थ्योरी आपने पढ़ा लिया, सेकंड पीरियड में अनदर थ्योरी पढ़ा लिया था, जैसे बिहेवियरिस्ट थ्योरी पढ़ा लिया, फिर कॉग्निटिविस्ट थ्योरी, कंस्ट्रक्टिविस्ट थ्योरी पढ़ा लिया. तो हर पीरियड के लिए एक एक थ्योरी जो होता है वो एक आपका टॉपिक होता है. बट इस टॉपिक के दौरान एक टीचर क्या करता है 50 मिनट्स पीरियड और 60 मिनट्स पीरियड. ये नंबर ऑफ लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंसेस जो कि एनईपी बार बार कर रहा है. वी हैव टू प्रोवाइड लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंसेस अक्रॉस डिफरेंट डोमेन्स. तो लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंसेस प्रोवाइड करता है. तो इस ऐसे ही एक प्रोग्राम का स्वरूप होता है. नाउ इस प्रोग्राम कोर्स यूनिट टॉपिक को लेके यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रांट्स कमीशन अभी सारा हायर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन को बताया है क्या क्या कि चाहे कॉलेज हो यूनिवर्सिटी हो, जब आप प्रोग्राम बनाएंगे आपको प्रोग्राम लर्निंग आउटकम्स बनाना है. आपको कोर्स रिलेटेड कोर्स लर्निंग आउटकम्स बनाना है. ऑफकोर्स यूजीसी ने नहीं बता रहा है यूनिट लर्निंग आउटकम्स, लेसन लर्निंग आउटकम्स, बट एज ए टीचर ऑफ हायर एजुकेशन जब आप एक यूनिट और एक चैप्टर को डील करते हैं आपको उस लेवल में भी लर्निंग आउटकम्स बनाना पड़ेगा. बट हमारा जो फोकस होगा वो बेसिकली यूजीसी के डॉक्यूमेंट के हिसाब से पीएलओज एंड सीएलओज. नाउ पीएलओज एंड सीएलओज का डिफरेंस क्या है? पीएलओज जनरली दे आर ब्रॉड इन नेचर एंड दे आर टू बी अचीव्ड एट द एंड ऑफ ए प्रोग्राम. लेट अस से दे आर स्पेसिफिक ऑब्जर्वेबल फॉर ए पर्टिकुलर एजुकेशन लेवल. जैसे कॉलेज में बीएससी प्रोग्राम चलता है, बीए प्रोग्राम चलता है, बीए प्रोग्राम बीकॉम प्रोग्राम चलता है. सपोज बीएससी प्रोग्राम में आप एज ए टीचर और आपका कॉलेज डिसाइड करता है कि स्टूडेंट शुड बी एबल टू डेवलप साइंटिफिक थिंकिंग. बहुत रेलिवेंट है. एक साइंस प्रोग्राम में साइंटिफिक थिंकिंग डेवलप होना चाहिए, तो वो हो गया ब्रॉड प्रोग्राम लर्निंग आउटकम्स. एक ब्रॉड प्रोग्राम लर्निंग आउटकम्स वो प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिक होता है एंड इट इज achieved after a long period of time. But course learning outcomes, they are specific to a particular course. Suppose आप एनवायरमेंटल साइंस पढ़ा रहे हैं एक कोर्स, एनवायरमेंटल साइंस में आपने एक कोर्स लर्निंग आउटकम्स किया, at the end of my BSc program in environmental science, students should be able to analyze the factors responsible for global warming with the help of latest research finds. यहाँ हमने एक कंडीशन दे दिया है, कैसे वो एनालाइज करेंगे? एनालाइज हो गया एक्शन वर्ब, एक्टिव वर्ब, और हमारा स्टैंडर्ड है दे हैव टू एनालाइज द फैक्टर रेस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर ग्लोबल वार्मिंग। ये हमारा स्टैंडर्ड हो गया। और किसके सहायता में? किसके सहायता में? विद द हेल्प ऑफ लेटेस्ट रिसर्च फाइंडिंग्स। वो सारा रिसर्च फाइंडिंग्स अभी देखेंगे और उसी के आधार पर जो ग्लोबल वार्मिंग को क्रिएट करता है, उसका फैक्टर है, उसका घटक है, उसका वो एक एनालिसिस करेगा और विश्लेषण करेगा। तो ये हो गए हमारे कोर्स लर्निंग आउटकम्स। इसी का आधार को रख के हम अपना यूनिट लर्निंग आउटकम, लेसन लर्निंग आउटकम और नीचे बना सकते हैं। तो ये यूजीसी कहते हैं कि बीएससी, बीए, बीकॉम, मैनेजमेंट, एमबीए जो प्रोग्राम आप कर रहे हैं, मास्टर लेवल, ग्रेजुएशन लेवल और पीएचडी प्रोग्राम, यू हैव टू फॉर्मुलेट पीएलओ एंड सीएलओ। ना जब हम बता रहे हैं कि लेसन लेवल, अगर आप साइंस पढ़ा रहे हैं, यूनिट लर्निंग और नीचे आ जाइए, जैसे आप इंटरनल बॉडी ऑर्गन्स पढ़ा रहे हैं, उसमें एक यूनिट लर्निंग आउटकम हो गया, लर्नर्स विल बी एबल टू नो अबाउट इंटरनल, वेरी वेरी नॉलेज लेवल लर्निंग आउटकम्स। मगर उसको फिर आप और नीचे आ जाएंगे, डिफाइन इंटरनल बॉडी ऑर्गन्स इन ए सेंटेंस कंप्राइजिंग नॉट मोर देन 50 वर्ड्स, कंडीशन दे दिया है। नेम एनी 4 इंटरनल बॉडी ऑर्गन्स विदाउट द हेल्प ऑफ ए पिक्चर, ये अनदर कंडीशन दे दिया। आइडेंटिफाई एनी 5 इंटरनल बॉडी ऑर्गन्स विद द हेल्प ऑफ ए पिक्चर, एक विदाउट पिक्चर एंड विद द हेल्प। सो यू एज अ टीचर, आप एक लेसन लेवल में, एक टॉपिक लेवल में बहुत सारे स्पेसिफिक लर्निंग आउटकम्स कर सकते हैं, और वो लर्निंग आउटकम्स का आफ्टर ईच यूनिट टेस्ट दे सकते हैं, आप टॉपिक टेस्ट दे सकते हैं, नहीं तो इंटरनल असेसमेंट टेस्ट दे सकते हैं। तो ये लर्निंग आउटकम सीधे सीधे आपका असेसमेंट के साथ जुड़ा रहता है। आपका लर्निंग आउटकम जितना साफ है, जितना क्लियर है, जितना डायरेक्टेड है, आपका असेसमेंट उतना साफ रहेगा और क्लियर रहेगा और डायरेक्टेड टुवर्ड्स acquisition of knowledge, skill, attitude and knowledge. Now, learning outcomes का importance बहुत बड़ा important है। ये हम तो असेसमेंट का ही बात कर रहे हैं अभी, बट ये डिजाइन एंड डेवलपमेंट ऑफ करिकुलम को हेल्प करता है, आपका सिलेक्शन ऑफ मेथड्स टेक्नोलॉजी को हेल्प करता है। देन आप जो 50 मिनट क्लास में पढ़ा रहे हैं, ट्रांजैक्शन ऑफ लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंसेस also are held or directed by the kind of learning outcomes you formulate, and ultimately ये help करता है आपका assessment of student performance. Now ये assessment आप जानते हैं, assessment is a systematic process of gathering, interpreting, acting upon data related to student learning and experience for the purpose of developing a deep understanding of what students know, understand and can do with their knowledge as a result of their educational experiences. The process culminates when assessment results are used to improve subsequent learning. The more important thing that last line, it aims at student learning. And very interestingly, NEP under school education section, it clearly says that this entire education system must gear towards achievement of student learning. Therefore, assessment has been highly recommended, suggested by NEP that the system must strive towards improving student learning. So the role of assessment is to improve student learning. Now there are 3 major types of assessment it recommends in both school section as well as higher education: assessment of learning, assessment for learning, assessment as learning. Assessment of learning that we do our summative test, annual test, half yearly test, term and examination IGNOU does. So they are at the end of an academic session, academic year. वो आखिर में हम करते हैं, एनुअल टेस्ट कराते हैं, समेटिव टेस्ट कराते हैं और हाफ ईयरली टेस्ट करते हैं. तो वो हम उससे पता लग जाता है हमारा स्टूडेंट ने कहाँ तक लर्निंग किया है. जो लर्निंग हम के लिए प्रयास किया है, लर्निंग हकीकत कहाँ तक गया है, तो वहाँ पता है. बट जब वो लर्निंग तरफ गुजर रहा है, from the beginning to the end of acquisition of learning, that journey is more important. And that journey has been emphasized by NEP 2020. That journey is your classroom teaching. That journey is your college exposure. That journey is your peer exposure. So, as a teacher of higher education, you have to be more vigilant about assessment for learning that is related to formative assessment, continuous comprehensive assessment or evaluation. That NEP says, the first slide I have already shown you. So, ये बहुत important है. Then assessment as learning, ये भी NEP कहता है. NEP का focus है that not only student as the teacher has to assess, but student themselves they have to assess their own assessment. They have to assess by their peer assessment. Abhi Ministry of Education has asked NCERT to come out with guidelines for peer assessment, peer learning. So everything is now an outcome of this NEP. All attempts are being made to understand and formulate the action point culminating from NEP. That peer learning, self-learning, in distance learning, self-learning, peer learning, all this they are the focus of assessment. Reflective learning, critical thinking, they are part of your assessment as learning. Their learner himself or herself is assessing upon her own action. Learning in action, learning on action. When the learner is going through a process of learning, he is also learning. And after the learning process is over, again he is reflecting what or she is reflecting what she has learned or not. So this is. Then UGC talks about graduate attributes. This is very important. These graduate attributes, they help formulation of program, education objective, program learning outcomes. So these are very important. They are also in terms of knowledge skills. So these are examples of graduate attributes. Already I have taken one example of scientific thinking. That is, for example, one of the most prominent graduate attribute of a BSc program is development of scientific reasoning. Then another will be reflective thinking. Then in a distance education program, self-directed learning is a more important graduate attribute. Now there are many critical thinking and communication skills. All these are graduate attributes. And many of these graduate attributes, they are also part of 21st century life skills. Then when we talk about formulating program education objectives, starting from NEP 2020 vision, your institution vision, 21st century skill, societal needs, then interdisciplinary approach to education that NEP talks about, holistic development of learners, NEP talks about, parental expectation, local needs, regional needs, national, international needs, and ultimately, where your learners will go ultimately? To job market, to corporate sectors, to industrial sectors, to service sectors. What do they need of this learner? Those also will be reflected in your program objectives, program learning outcomes. Now, with this, you can really prepare some kind of a top-down model, where from program education objectives to program learning outcomes, then each program learning outcome has its own competencies. Each competency has its performance indicator. Then it directs towards course learning outcomes. Then it helps to formulate course design and helps you to strategize your journey of teaching learning. Then ultimately, boils down to assessment. Assessment, both formative, oblique continuous comprehensive assessment and summative assessment. Let us take this model and one example. Suppose one of the PhD program or MPhil program, one of the attribute is research related skill. If this is the research related skill is the program objective, then you can formulate your program learning outcomes. And competency is development of research skills, performance indicator, for example, reviewing related literature, one of the program, preparing research design, another performance indicator, analyzing data, another performance indicator. Then coming down to again review of related literature as one of outcome. It has its further performance indicator, reviewing this print literature, reviewing audio video materials, reviewing web literature. So this way you can really formulate your objectives and based on this formative assessment. Then this is very important. You have to plan for the entire year how you really implement your formative assessment, summative assessment. This is, I say, assessment plan for an academic year. Every teacher, every institution must factor into both formative and summative assessment. Also, in terms of 21st century skill, in terms of holistic development of learners, everything they have to be figured out in the annual assessment plan. Now, these are learning outcomes and assessment methods. For remembering, you can have different assessment methods. For understanding, you can have different. So, these are examples I have borrowed somewhere, and you can also, for example, evaluating, you can ask them journal writing, diaries, critiques, case studies. For creating, you can music composition, website designing, prototyping, writing poetry, many things you can, simulation. So all these things, assessment strategies you can develop vis-a-vis learning outcomes.